ladies and gentlemen. Have you ever seen a vehicle so small that even your cat looked at it and said, "That's adorable, but where's the rest of it?" Welcome to the tale of the ABC Skootamota, the only scooter in history that could fit in a hallway, be started by jogging like you're late for bingo, and still make you feel like a proper post-war gentleman or lady. I'm Timmy, and today we're diving headfirst into the pint-sized legend from post-World War I Britain that proved one thing: you don't need horsepower to be unforgettable. You just need a stubborn engine, 2 tiny wheels, and absolutely no shame. Now let's roll right into the charming little legend itself, the ABC Skootamota. Smash that subscribe button for more quirky classics and two-wheeled curiosities you never knew existed. This adorable British scooter burst onto the scene just after World War I in 1919, thanks to the imagination of Granville Bradshaw, chief designer at ABC Motors, known for aircraft engines. Bradshaw clearly realized people after the war needed something to get around cheaply, probably inspired by neighbors like mine who always dream about extravagant vacations but end up posting pictures from their backyard. Manufactured by Gilbert Campling Limited, production kicked off at Redsand Works in Croydon before later hopping over to Cowes on the Isle of Wight. Marketed in London, this little gem targeted pretty much everyone, from doctors making house calls to elegant ladies trying to escape awkward tea parties. ABC Motors smartly pitched it as every woman's joy car. And I think that's genius marketing, like calling my pal Doug everyman's handyman, even though Doug's toolbox consists solely of duct tape and optimism. At the 1919 motorcycle show in London's Olympia, the Skootamota stole the spotlight. They even had a tropical model, presumably for those dreaming of exotic vacations they'd never take, and a delivery version painted for Harrods, meant for nimble parcel delivery. Nimble? Huh? Sounds suspiciously like your friend Gary, who calls himself nimble because he once dodged responsibility for helping you move. But as interest waned and competitors popped up, production wrapped up. ABC Motors moved on, leaving the Skootamota behind like a forgotten New Year's resolution. Today, just a few dozen survive, treasured mostly by those guys who claim they were experts on scooters before scooters were even invented. By 1922, around 3,000 Skootamotas rolled out, marking it as Britain's most successful early scooter. The engine? 124 cubic centimeters air-cooled single-cylinder 4-stroke, pumping out a raging 1.5 horsepower. 1.5. You could probably beat it in a race riding a large dog. But hey, the thing used an AMAC carburetor and a CAV magneto because batteries are for people with ambition. No gearbox, no clutch, no Kickstarter. Just push it like your dreams, hope for combustion, and hop on before it scoots away. The frame was literally a beefed-up version of a child's scooter with a wooden or metal footboard. Suspension? No. The only thing that absorbed shock was your spine and your expectations. The brakes? External band brakes front and rear, which sounds like something invented by a daredevil who hated knees. The wheels were 16 inches, wire-spoked with pneumatic tires, which made it nimble but also great at transmitting every rock directly to your kidneys. And the speed? Officially about 15 miles per hour, 24 kilometers per hour, but on a downhill with a tailwind and a light rider, maybe 25 miles per hour, 40 kilometers per hour. It got 120 miles per gallon, 2 liters per 100 kilometers, or roughly a teaspoon of petrol per week. You had to run alongside it to start it. Riders often stood, hopped and prayed. Once going, you cut ignition to stop. Who needs brakes when you've got faith? Yet despite its quirks, or maybe because of them, the Skootamota was beloved. It weighed 77 to 88 pounds, 35 to 40 kilograms, was about 5 feet, 152 centimeters long, and had a wheelbase of 3 feet 6 inches, 100 centimeters. One reviewer said it provides a maximum of amusement with a minimum of danger. I'd say the same about my cousin Nigel, but he's banned from 3 bowling alleys. Society ladies rode them through London parks. Doctors did house calls. Harrods tried parcel delivery. It became a curious little cultural icon. You could fold the handlebars and carry it on a train. Try that with your Harley. And while motorcyclists scoffed, calling it a toy, we now know it was ahead of its time. It was the original sit-down scooter before Vespas were even a glint in Italy's eye. Back in 1919, it cost 49 guineas, roughly £51 and 45 pence at the time. That's around £2,800 today, or about $3,080, 3,300 euros. Not bad for a war surplus engine on a footboard. By the 2010s, museums celebrated it as the great-grandparent of modern scooters. It didn't just carry people. It carried the idea that transport could be democratic, small, and charming. The highest recorded auction sale? A modest £3,883 Bonhams. That's cheaper than a Vespa keychain in London today. Most go for £2,000 to £3,000, depending on condition. I'll be honest, I liked the Skootamota more than I expected. It was brave, it was clever, it tried to give freedom to people who couldn't afford big bikes or cars, and it did it with only 1.5 horses and a prayer. Respect, little scooter. Thanks for riding along with me today on Timmy Tiny Wheels. Subscribe if you haven't already, and remember, some rides may be small, but their stories are bigger than any engine. See you next time.